Disclaimer: the following video that you're about to view only contains audio only, as it's from a wrestling internet radio show. If you are looking for wrestling video footage, you will not find that on this video. This wrestling radio show may contain strong language that may be offensive to those under the age of 18. If you are under the age of 18, please get permission to listen to this episode. Enjoy, comment, and subscribe.
Hold one, arm drag. Whoa! This is
Brett screwed Brett.
Who are you to doubt El Dan? Because this guy's a serious professional.
Brett screwed Brett.
hold two, arm bar.
Hey, get a nice shot of the brand new Mr. and Mrs. Hunter Hurst Helmsley.
I hate you. I hate you. I hate your hat. I hate your t-shirts. I hate your wristbands. I hate your shoes. I hate your music. I hate the C-Nation. I hate everything that you stand for.
Sodas rule. Yeah, they do.
Hold three, the moss-covered, three-handle family gradunzel.
Live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., this is the RCWR Show with your host, Lee Sanders.
Hey, coming at you live right now on blogtalkradio.com/the RCWR Show. I'm, of course, as always, the Black Avenger, Lee Sanders. What's up, everybody? Had a little bit of technical difficulties. It would probably help if I had unmuted myself. I was talking, and I see co-producer Tabby pointing the finger saying, the guys in the chat room, they aren't hearing anything. And I was trying to figure out what was going on. So we apologize if we had lost a couple of you within those first 3 minutes. We know that's precious right there. Really sorry about that. Hey, it happens. It's live. The important thing is you guys can hear me right now. So let's go on ahead and let's jump right into it. You know, we have the chat room that's open right now at blogtalkradio.com/the RCWR Show. Go on ahead, jump on in there when you get a free moment. You can also interact with us by hitting us up on Twitter at Infinity1Prod. You can also interact with us in the later part of the show when we open up the phone lines. Now, depending on how many people call into tonight's show will determine the way we're going to open up the phone lines. If we don't have that many people that'll call in, want to share their reactions to the pay-per-view, then we'll just go on ahead and, you know, we'll just hold off the calls till later on. But if we receive a nice big number of you guys calling, we'll take your calls in between as we're giving the match breakdowns. You know how we do it over here on the RCWR Post Show. You know, before we dive right into it, on a very serious note, because the last time we were on the air with you guys, it was this Thursday night for Impact Showdown Radio, where we were covering the fallout from TNA Impact Live, also the very latest in Impact TNA wrestling related news, and so much has happened obviously since we were last on the air with you guys, and we just cannot go into talking about the coverage of tonight's pay-per-view without first mentioning what had happened there in Connecticut at Sandy Elementary School, where all those people had unfortunately had lost their lives, young children at that, so many young precious lives that were going to school trying to become better people, better leaders for tomorrow, lives taken so very short right before they could even make an impact in this world. And, you know, on behalf of myself, on behalf of the lovely co-producer Tammy, Zed, everybody that works hard over here behind the scenes, whether it's on our shows or at our website, we just want to all offer our condolences and prayers to the victims that were affected by those shootings. You know, I'm not a parent. However, I am working on becoming a parent, and I can just only imagine the heartbreak that these families are feeling right now. And, you know, it's funny because one of our callers had asked, or rather made a comment that, hey, it's good that you guys aren't doing a Wednesday show this week because we are going to be doing a round of wrestling shows coming up this weekend. We'll give you a few programming notes when we come back from commercial break, let you all know what we're going to be doing. But obviously with the events that had happened Friday, we're actually going to be dedicating a special episode of the RCWR show this Wednesday covering what all had went down. And we're actually going to be joined by a very special guest. I'll give you the details about that, but we just couldn't go into tonight's pay-per-view coverage without first mentioning that. You know, we aren't the only ones that had took the time out to acknowledge that the entire wrestling community had offered their prayers and thoughts on this. And, hey, that was exactly what was the tone going into the beginning of the TLC pay-per-view live from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. First time that WWE is doing a pay-per-view at this center, and man, did they pick the right moment. This was the right type of crowd to be doing a WWE pay-per-view in front of. That is the crowd that we need going to every single WWE house show. That is the same type of crowd that we need going into those low, disappointing Desmo episodes of 3-hour Monday Night Raws. That crowd seems like they can really just shake it up a bit. I was really loving that crowd. Of course, I'll be giving them more props all throughout the night. But that crowd, I love a New York crowd. I love Brooklyn. We know about the listeners that we have in the New York area, in the Brooklyn area. That's really one of our main focal points of listeners that be checking out the show is from that Brooklyn area. We appreciate that love and support as always, but really love that crowd. And, you know, we can't really dive into tonight's pay-per-view without first talking about what all had went down with the YouTube pre-show. And mad shout-out to those of you that were interacting with us during the course of tonight's coverage as we were providing live results, review, all that from our website. We had got word that there was a dark match of which JTG had defeated David Otunga, and the crowd was really behind JTG from what we heard. So that is it for your dark match. Let's talk about that YouTube pre-show, which, of course, as we always do over here on the RCWR Post Show, we always like to take those little numbers down, let you know what was the strongest point, lowest point for those YouTube pre-shows. Now, we had saw the Ryback Shield recap of their program. That came in at 2,909 views on YouTube. Bear in mind that when the pre-show first opened up, it kicked off at 1,750. So notice that jump right there from the opening, 1,750 to the Ryback Shield recap, 2,909. From there, we had went to Michael Cole, Josh Matthews, as they were going over some of the winners of this year's Slammy Awards. Now, for those of you that had missed that, we do have it for you. The winners go as follows. Now, for Best Dancer of the Year, that went to Brodus Clay. For Top Social Media Ambassador, that actually went to Charlie Sheen. Very interesting right there. As remember, just earlier this year, originally Charlie Sheen was supposed to be doing something on Twitter when shockingly and mysteriously he just deleted his Twitter account. And that was how he was supposed to be interacting with the WWE Universe on that Monday night's Raw. Well, they had a little bit of a fallout, but eventually they had made other arrangements where Charlie Sheen instead was interactive with the WWE audience in a series of tout videos. So that alone there, Charlie Sheen, Top Social Media Ambassador winner. I don't really know about that. But anyway, WWE.com exclusive video of the year went to Jerry the King Lawler as he was talking about what all had happened post his heart attack. He was talking about his experience, pretty much the first time that he gave a major interview before he made his rounds on a few TV shows, radio shows, etc. Crowd chant of the year, that went to Feed Me More by the one Ryback. Upset of the year goes to last year's Royal Rumble, where Daniel Bryan was successfully able to retain his World Heavyweight Championship. inside a steel cage match. For Diva of the Year, that went to none other than AJ Lee. Now, bear in mind, at this point, viewership had went up to 3,083. Of course, now we had that first match for the pre-show. It was the Santa's Little Helpers Divas Battle Royal match, where Naomi and Cameron, they were involved in this along with Aksana, Layla, Tamina, Kaitlyn. I know I'm missing another name in there. I just can't think of the diva right now. But you know what? I know most of you guys out there, you're probably like, divas, don't really care about that. Who cares who the last diva was? Okay, all right, we'll go that route just this one time. Order of eliminations, it went as follows. Cameron, Aksana, Layla, Natalya, Tamina. Now, it boiled down to Kaitlyn and Naomi. Now, Eve played a very critical role in this, as we saw Kaitlyn on the outside of the ring. She was on the apron. She looked as if she was trying to go back in, but we see Eve, who originally was providing a little bit of commentating. She left the commentating booth, and she went over. She attacked Kaitlyn. Kaitlyn turning around, kind of trying to see, what the heck was going on, and we see Naomi do a drop kick to send Kaitlyn flying to the canvas to be officially eliminated. So, for the first time ever, it's going to be Naomi who's going to be taking on Eve. And, folks, this match would actually occur on the pay-per-view tonight. Very interesting development right here. Now, I know some of you guys are probably hearing that, and you're probably saying, damn, Lee, so we get a Divas match for the title, but yet JTG, David Otunga, two black guys, that ends up being a dark match. That's kind of jacked up. Yeah, I kind of feel where you're going with that. Trust me. But if it makes you feel any better, we did see R-Truth and Kofi Kingston on the card tonight. Hello. So anyway, folks, at that point, we saw the viewership numbers come in still relatively strong, still at around that 3,000 plus mark. Michael Cole, Josh Matthews, they came back to present more Slammy Award winners. Insult of the Year, how quickly this happened. It was just last month on SmackDown. John Cena had cut a really great promo on Dolph Ziggler, Vicky Guerrero. Vicky Guerrero, he said, okay, here we have one person that's trying to taste nuts, and we have another person who's trying to find his nuts. And apparently that had won him Insult of the Year. Pretty damn quick right there. Anyway, Tweet of the Year. It went to Daniel Bryan defending his facial hair. YouTube Show of the Year. That went to Z, True Long Island Story, starring, you know it, Zack Ryder. Facial Hair of the Year. For you Damian Sandow fans, no, he did not win this. It actually went to Daniel Bryan. That's right, Daniel Bryan actually won that. So if you're keeping track, Daniel Bryan right now is a two-time Slammy winner this year. For Feat of Strength of the Year, that went to Sheamus. Remember that episode of Raw a couple of weeks back where Sheamus was able to pick up Big Show, 400-plus pounds of Big Show at that, and was able to deliver white noise. So he won that Slammy Award for that. Betrayal of the Year. It went to Big Show. You got to rewind it back just around summertime almost, when John Laurinaitis was still the Raw General Manager, and it looked as if Big Show was going to be coming out to help John Cena get that win over John Laurinaitis in that singles match. They had to close out that episode of Raw. Big Show comes out, gives a WMD to John Cena. Turns out he's aligned himself with John Laurinaitis as he was given a ironclad contract, which is still in effect to this very day. But that was looked upon as the betrayal of the year. Viewership at this point dipped low a little bit, came in at 2,704. From there, we got to see the recap of Dolph Ziggler and John Cena's program within recent weeks. That closed out the pre-show. Viewership, pretty much just a little bit under 3,000. Not really too bad. All right, so After that, we had got the official jump start for tonight's pay-per-view. Very touching moment that would make anybody almost get a teary eye as Lillian Garcia, she asked the fans in attendance if they could join her in a moment of silence as the bell was rung 27 times for the respected amount of victims that were killed from those Connecticut shootings. Really touchy, a very emotional moment right there, especially for those of you that might have been watching that. We really got to you hardcore right there when you saw that. Now time for the official start of the pay-per-view, and the first match that we had got to see was the tables match for the number one contenders to face the WWE Tag Champions. We got to see Cody Rhodes, Damian Sandow in action against Sin Cara, Rey Mysterio. Great way to open up the pay-per-view. I actually like the way this match was presented to us. I like the order of this. This was good. You know, we saw some really great sweet spots in this match. I felt so sorry, though, for Sin Cara. Sin Cara looked as if he died in this match because one sweet spot that we saw. We see Sin Cara. He's on the outside of the ring. He's on the apron. He looks like he's trying to come back in the ring, but the way he's trying to do it, he looked as if he was trying to do some type of a aerial assault off the top ropes. I believe it was either Cody Rhodes, it could have been Damian Sandow, I can't think of which guy it was, but one of them, they were able to catch him mid-air and basically use that momentum to push him back. And he went flying back first into a table that was propped up. I mean, really great spot. There was a couple of other great spots in this match, but that was the main one. As soon as you saw that, the first thing you said to yourself was, damn, Sin Cara just died. At least that's what I had said. I know Zed, lovely co-producer Tammy, we all were like, damn, is Sin Cara okay? And you just automatically see WWE officials and you see medics. They're coming to the aid of Sin Cara. They're trying to untie his boots, trying to check on him, make sure he's okay. Sin Cara, I feel so sorry for that guy. You know, that really should have been Rey Mysterio, but Rey Mysterio at this point, he's kind of hot and cold right now. 1 minute he's okay, and then the next minute he's gone for a little while. I guess it was kind of smart letting it be Sin Cara to take that nasty little bump. But that was a pretty decent match. Now, if you were paying attention to how we had did the matches at our website, we gave it a little rating system, and I'm going to try to stick to that, and we'll adopt that system from here on now when we cover all the pay-per-views. So the match rating goes from a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being crappy, 5 being superb. For this match, this is my honest rating. Now, if it turns out it matches to what the website had said, that's fine. But this is my honest rating of that match. I would honestly give that a 3 out of 5. I thought it was really, really good. A lot of nice little spots in there. But, man, just to see the way Sin Cara, that alone was just worth really checking out this match. 3 out of 5. Let's move on now as we saw a really kick-ass video package from The Shield as they were taking shots at Ryback for injuring the WWE champion CM Punk, who's been the longest reigning champion in today's modern era of professional wrestling for 392 days now, for those of you that might have lost count. The Shield, they also called Ryback reckless and promised to feed him more by basically giving him an ass whooping that he's not going to be able to handle tonight. They finally revealed the reason why they had attacked Kane and Daniel Bryan. They cited that the attacks that they've been given to them has been because they don't look at them as a real tag team. They don't consider them to be a legit tag team, as tag teams are all about working together, working in unison, having each other's back no matter what. And they feel that Kane and Daniel Bryan guys, they just haven't been displaying that. And Roman Reigns, he actually went a step further. He said, hey, and quite honestly, we just don't like you. So that pretty much explains why they attacked them. So now you know what's going on with these guys. And I'm not even done talking about The Shield just yet. I'll be talking more on them in just a few seconds. And as Philip said in the chat room, amazing is right when we talk about the Shield and their match. Let's move along now and let's talk about the WWE United States Championship on the line as Antonio Cesaro was in action against R-Truth, where once again Cesaro continues to show off his display of just awesomeness when it comes to being in that ring and just being able to do what he does offensively. I haven't seen a style of that type of wrestling that had just kept me glued to the set just watching. You know, he's got one of those. He's like Dolph Ziggler. You know, he's one of those type of guys. You can watch him and you never get tired of him. Same thing with Daniel Bryan. He's one of those type of guys. No matter who you see him paired up with, you're just always entertained watching him in the ring. The only gripe I had about this match, which was for the United States title, the only gripe I had, if I had to pick anything about it I didn't like, was the fact that the match just wasn't long enough. That was my biggest complaint. This match, now that I'm backtracking and thinking about it, I'm remembering off the top of my head, it felt like it was maybe a 10-minute match. Now, I could be wrong. For those of you that feel it was a little bit longer, if you know for a fact it was a little bit longer, you're more than welcome to correct me, but it really felt like a 10-minute match. And we saw Cesaro just pick up a clean win over R-Truth, doing that devastating grab, nail spike maneuver. I still don't know the name of that finisher, and I know the commentators have probably been saying the name of it, but to me it just looks like a nail spike body slam drive or whatever the heck you want to call it, but impressive strength from this guy. Antonio Cesaro, still the United States champion. He cut one very interesting promo after the match as Matt Striker wanted to get a few words with him, and Cesaro feels that, hey, by the fans booing him, they're basically booing themselves because, after all, he is the United States champion. And pretty much he tells the fans that really they have no class if they're sitting up and they're booing him. But Cesaro just continues to have this impressive streak of defeating American wrestlers that have been put before him. Now, some would kind of sit up and say, well, wait a minute, what about Kofi Kingston there? He's not exactly from America, right? Yeah, to a certain extent, you could kind of go that route. But the way WWE is pretty much setting this up, they're giving you the impression that every single American that has stepped foot in the ring with Cesaro, they just haven't been able to get the job done. So what does this mean? Well, eventually we're going to have to see some type of a foreigner perhaps come in and probably take this belt away from Cesaro. But, you know, one interesting tweet that was put out there by somebody that we were engaging in conversations with, they brought up a very valid point. They said, you know what, if there was ever a time to bring back the European Championship belt, it would be right now, and Cesaro would be the perfect guy to do it. And honestly, I think that is a very brilliant idea. I mean, I actually missed the European Championship. I really didn't have a problem with it. I know they wanted to get rid of it because they had the Intercontinental title, and it was kind of like, Euro, Intercontinental, same daggone thing. Let's just get rid of one of them. But honestly, if there was ever a time to have a belt defect to another country or whatever, it would be the right time. Hey, it doesn't necessarily have to be the European title, but Cesaro could go into a whole different storyline if WWE wants to go that route. They could have him be so disgusted as a U.S. champion, he could rename that belt altogether. Very curious to see how they're going to go about that. But anyway, Cesaro, still the United States champion. Move along now, folks. Let's talk about the next moment of the night, which was a very awkward segment. To me, it was a boring segment. Of course, I'm talking about the segment of Miz TV where The Miz had on to his set the 3MB, the three-man rock band, Heath Slater, Drew McIntyre, Jinder Mahal, and this was a pretty weak moment. Thank God Miz was there because these guys just weren't cutting it. With the exception of Heath Slater, I have no bones to pick with him. Heath Slater's come a long way, but the other two guys, they just, I just can't stand them. riding off of the coattails of Heath Slater. That's exactly how I'm looking at it right now. But we see them, they turn their attention to the Spanish announcers. They feel that the Spanish announcers have been talking a bunch of garbage about them, and they try to pick a fight with them. And you just kind of felt bad for the Spanish announcers because it's like, hey, why are you messing with them? They're good people. You know, they bad enough their table gets messed up every single freaking pay-per-view. Now you got to mess with themselves? I mean, come on, man. Well, we see Ricardo Rodriguez. He tries to come out. He tries to be a little peacemaker and tries to have them hold off on their little attack. That is just a misunderstanding. But 3MB, they aren't having it. They start roughing up Ricardo Rodriguez. Now, surprisingly, we see Alberto Del Rio come to the scene of his little buddy. I call him Gilligan. I look at Ricardo as little Gilligan, you know, and Alberto Del Rio is Skipper. So we see Skipper come on out, and he's taking the fight to 3MB. Alberto Del Rio actually received a pretty nice ovation, nice little pop from the crowd. And, you know, if you've been paying attention to some of the wrestling news headlines that was coming out there this weekend, you'll know that WWE, they are giving strong consideration into making Alberto Del Rio a baby face. As the way that they're looking at things right now, they feel that they really need a top Latin baby face in the company, as they're looking at guys like Rey Mysterio. And unfortunately, the way that they're feeling in general about Rey Mysterio, he is just not that go-to guy as he once used to be. And unfortunately, Sin Cara just is not ready. He is nowhere near ready yet. So they're really scrambling right now. So they're looking at Alberto Del Rio. And, you know, I didn't want to believe what I had saw. You know, when I read it like you guys, I was kind of thinking about it, and I'm saying to myself, well, if there was ever a time it could happen, yeah, maybe he has run his course as a villain. And based off what we had saw tonight, especially what events had came later on, as Heath Slater had told Miz and Alberto Del Rio, as Miz actually did get involved in the scuffle with 3MB as well. He actually helped Alberto. Heath Slater told Miz and Alberto Del Rio, hey, it's going to be the three of us, take you two guys on. Why don't you guys see if you could find a tag team partner, meet us 3-on-3 later tonight. A lot of the fans in attendance, they were like, woo, 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 and you know what they wanted. They wanted Zack Ryder. Surprisingly, folks, that is not who we got. A little bit of a disappointment if you are not a – it was a little bit of a disappointment who they picked if you're a new generation WWE fan. But for the old school WWE fans, for sure, they appreciated who they ended up recruiting. I'll cover that a little bit more in a little bit. But from what we're able to see right here, looks like Alberto Del Rio, whether some people like it or not, and there's just some people that genuinely just can't stand Del Rio, looks like he's going to be a babyface. So take it for what it's worth. Let's move along now and let's talk about a really kick-ass video promo that came from none other than The Rock. And I'm pretty sure in just a matter of hours, if it's not already been uploaded to WWE's YouTube channel, somebody is going to upload it. Really kick-ass video promo for The Rock. And when they were showing him, nice little comparisons. They were talking about just the actual bull, saying how it's blazing, all these B words, it's bold, all this silly stuff, and it goes into The Rock, who is clean-shaven, no goatee, no facial hair, and you're looking at the pic or the images of The Rock in the video package, and you're like, that's The Rock that I remember. That's the one. So it looks like they're already beginning to hype up his return. Truly a great mark-out moment if you're a Rock fan. It was really kick-ass. Let's talk about the WWE Intercontinental Championship match next, guys, as it was Kofi Kingston taking on Wade Barrett. I was actually into this match. Amazing how many of you guys really were under the impression that Wade Barrett was going to get the Intercontinental title. Now, if you guys were checking out or call that match special over the weekend where I offered predictions for Sunday's matches, I said, you know, honestly, this is going to be the first strike for Kofi Kingston, Wade Barrett, as far as the Intercontinental being on the line for a match, a pay-per-view nonetheless. Kofi Kingston really needs this win, and that's exactly the case. Kofi Kingston, he did retain his Intercontinental title, but just the way that he went about it, I mean, remember what I said on our prediction special? I said, Kofi has been putting out that mean streak as of late, and he has The Miz to thank for it, and it looks like WWE, they're really now trying to embrace Kofi. They're trying to go with him, see if he can really take it up to that next level. And I actually thought this was a very smart move, having him work with Wade Barrett, because if anybody is going to bring out that more grittier, nastier side to Kofi, guys like Wade Barrett can do that, and not by a long shot. Based off how the match had ended up playing out, I don't feel this is over, not by a long shot. I think these two guys are going to continue to work their program. Wade Barrett was damn close. I mean, he was getting ready to do that bullhorn clothesline, but Kofi Kingston, he just came out of nowhere with Trouble in Paradise, and that's how he was able to pick up the victory. Kofi Kingston, Wade Barrett, I don't see these guys being done just yet. I think they've really just begun to scratch the surface. I see at least 2 more months that could be squeezed out of these guys if it's done right. All right, let's now talk about the coolest moment of the night. CM Punk, he did say that he was going to be in attendance at the TLC pay-per-view, and they did show him. He was chilling with Paul Heyman up in his own little private skybox. This was really funny because CM Punk, he sat up and he decided he wanted to answer some of the questions that have been coming in from many WWE fans, which is, how's his knee holding up? And we see Paul Heyman, he comes in there and he just puts on the greatest Brooklyn accent. He goes, forget about it. And CM Punk, he just starts taking insults at he starts dishing out insults to the Brooklyn crowd, letting them know that they're dumb and stupid, just like Ryback. And he went a step further than that. He called Ryback dumb and lucky. Now, check this out. He called Ryback dumb because Ryback messed up any shot that he had at the WWE title by taking him out on Raw a couple of weeks back. However, CM Punk would also say that Ryback is lucky because if the two of them would have had their match tonight, he would have tore him up just like he did at the past 2 pay-per-views. And as far as CM Punk is concerned, he's already proved in the ring that he can beat Ryback, thus eliminating all those myths that Ryback is this monster of a beast, this unstoppable juggernaut. No. Ryback is nothing more than a mortal man. And CM Punk would also close out things by letting everybody know that he's been the WWE champion this long and that going into 2013 is going to remain the same, as he has big things planned. He went on record saying he has big things planned. He's just getting started. Well, you may just be getting started in 2013, but you're going to have to go over Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, CM Punk, to be able to continue whatever it is that you're trying to get started up. Let's move along now, and let's talk about what some people thought was a weird place to put this match. And quite honestly, in retrospect, I think it should have closed out the show. You guys know exactly what I'm getting ready to talk about. It is, for the first time ever, a 6-man tag team match contested in a tables, ladders, and chairs. Oh my, as Mick Foley used to say as a SmackDown commissioner. See, I'm old school. When I can say Mick Foley, SmackDown commissioner, that'll let you know how long I've been checking this out. All right, we saw the team of the Shields, Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, take on Team Hell Knows, Kane, Daniel Bryan, Ryback. This was one of those moments right here where if you are a Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins fan, you would have been damn fucking proud of what these guys had did tonight. They delivered in their official WWE debut, big pay-per-view match at that. These guys, they really, really delivered. This was the match of the night. And let's just talk about the match rating, by the way, for this. And I know somebody had pointed out, hey, what was up with the match rating for that Kingston Wade Barrett? I would give that Wade Barrett Kingston match, I'd give that a 3.5 out of 5. But when it comes to this tables match, Shield, Ryback, Team Hell No, 5 out of 5. And as long as I have been covering the WWE pay-per-views, I think this may be either the first or second time that I've given a WWE match the highest rating possible for this calendar year. This match was really up there. I mean, so many great sweet spots in this match. I mean, try to picture this. If you did not see this pay-per-view tonight, and when I say this, visually, you're probably going to be like, how is that even possible? But can you imagine Kane choke-slamming Dean Ambrose through a steel chair? Having a hard time picturing it, Ken, right? That's what actually happened, and the chair got messed up big time. I mean, sweet spots like that. We even saw a super double suplex from the top turnbuckle as the Shield had laid out Daniel Bryan. We even see the Shield lay out Ryback once again, just like how they've been doing every single week. Ridiculous. Ryback was out of action for a good majority of this match, and I just thought that was smart booking on WWE's part because it kind of set the tone that this was really going to be all about the Shield, Kane, Daniel Bryan. Now, they even took out Kane right after Ryback. Kane was like gone. That was it for Kane. Kane kind of had a Sin Cara thing going on. Kane was temporarily dead for a little bit. And Daniel Bryan, he was really shining in this. And the Brooklyn crowd, they were really getting behind Daniel Bryan. Every single time he delivered those trademark kicks, the crowd were just chanting, yes, yes, yes. They were really loving Daniel Bryan in this. But again, it was all about the numbers game. I mean, you want to talk about a team working in great harmony. That's exactly what the Shield was doing right here. I mean, they were working in numbers. Now, Ryback would find his way back into this match, and he was just having a field day with everybody, especially Dean Ambrose. Let's not forget, there was one sweet spot in this match where Ryback had actually did, I believe it was a scoop slam, or he powerbombed him onto a ladder that was laid out on the mat, and Dean Ambrose, he just made the most ridiculous, cartoonish, ouchy face that I've ever seen, and I got to agree with Zed. It was right up there with Jericho making his debut, and he was interrupting The Rock, and he just had those little cartoon facial expressions going on. Dean Ambrose, and I know somebody's going to probably make a GIF image out of it, and they're probably going to try to use that for their little avatar. Hey, more power to you, because that facial expression he made, you couldn't help but laugh, because I'm kicking back and I'm watching this, and I'm saying, Ambrose, you're overselling that too much, man. Come on, lower it down a little bit, bro. Lower it down. But really great spot right here. Now, we see Ryback, the Shield, they take their fight over to the stage area. And mind you, the main stage area has got this nice ceiling of ladders that's just hanging like all around the Titantron. And you have these really nice tall ladders just all around the stage area, tables already propped up. So we see the Shield, they're beating up Ryback real good. They lay him out on a wooden table, and basically they say to Seth Rollins, hey, you got this? Seth is like, yeah, I got it. So they go on back to the ring to try to focus their attack on Daniel Bryan, Kane, if he's still lurking around. And Kane was just MIA, like the Foo Fighters song. He was gone. That was it for him. So we see Seth Rollins. He's trying to climb up the tallest ladder that's over by the stage area. He's getting ready to do a high-risk maneuver, right? Ryback, he gets up. He starts climbing the ladder. Seth Rollins, he realizes exactly what's going on. He tries to go over to another ladder. Ryback was able to get him, though, and he just threw him off the ladder. sent him crashing through a wooden table. Now, Ryback, bear in mind, still struggling, still feeling the effects of the beatdown that the Shield have been giving him throughout the night. He's struggling to make his way back into the ring because he knows that Kane, Daniel Bryan, they're probably in danger because it's all about the numbers game right now from the Shield. And that was the case. We see the Shield members remaining, Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, they're beating down on Daniel Bryan, and they give him a power bomb from the top turnbuckle. Roman Reigns picks up the victory for the Shield as Dean Ambrose looks on. Ryback not able to make it in time. Again, the Shield picks up the victory. I love the way this finish had played out, and it's exactly what I had said on our Call That Match special. I say, unfortunately, some people may not like the fact that Ryback is going to lose at this pay-per-view, but it needs to happen because this is the debut for the Shield, and unfortunately, it needed to happen this way. And I went on record saying, it's okay if you can have Kane or Daniel Bryan be the ones to pick up the pin, submit, whatever. Still have Ryback looking strong, so at least you can kind of make that argument that, okay, well, it wasn't him that got pinned or submitted. So very smart the way this finish came about. But for you internet darlings out there that have been following the careers of Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, you all should be very, very proud because this was the match of the night. Don't necessarily agree with this match being number 4, but a very strong finish, just hands down. One of the best matches I've seen in quite a long time. Of all the TLC matches I've seen over the years, if I were to compile a top 10 list, guys, this match is really, really high up there. Love this match. For those of you that were not able to see this pay-per-view, if you were to ask me if you should order it, I would say order it for this match alone. It was worth checking out. Let's quickly move on and talk about the other matches. For you guys in the chat room, Dave, are you able to hear me? Because we have Philip that keeps asking, where did I go? I'm still live on the air, so let me know if you guys can hear me. I know Dave usually lets me know if he can hear me. He's pretty prompt. And, Philip, it might be a problem with something that you're in. You may need to refresh your browser or what have you. All right, let's go on ahead and let's cover the rest of the fallout. And Dave confirms. Thank you, Dave. Dave, let Philip know because unfortunately I can't type. Let Philip know that it's his problem. Yeah, Philip, it's your problem. You're the one. You got to refresh your browser, man. And, for those of you that want to hop in the chat room, we got it open right now at Blog Talk Radio. We're interacting with everybody right now. Dave is saying he can hear me. He's called into the show. Yeah, just refresh. And for those of you that are listening through your browser or your smartphone or whatever, if the audio goes out, it's no problem at our end. Sometimes the Blog Talk Radio interface it's a little funky, so sometimes you might have to refresh. But, all right, let's move along. Let's talk about the next moment that came from the pay-per-view tonight. We saw the Divas Championship on the line. Eve defeated Naomi. Nice little bit of an effort. I don't really need to go too much into this match. It really wasn't anything I could really sink my teeth into, despite two beautiful women being in the ring. But it was what it was. Eve defeated Naomi. Let's talk about the World Heavyweight Championship match. Big Show versus Sheamus. I know you guys are probably like, Lee, what do you think about this match? This match had all the greatest potential of living up to what all had went down at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, at the Survivor Series pay-per-view, but I just felt that this match, it came up very short. Now remember, this was a chairs match, but I mean, don't get me wrong, guys, the first 15 minutes of this match, I loved it. It was like two big bulls just going back and forth. I was loving it. It reminded me of Superman versus Doomsday or Thanos versus Darkseid or Galactus versus, I don't know, The Watcher. I mean, it was really kick-ass. I was liking it, but I didn't like the finish. The finish just rubbed me the wrong way, okay? We see Big Show, and I don't know if maybe he's been hooking up with Wile the Coyote, and he's been buying stuff off of the Acme website or whatever, but we see Big Show, he just goes under the ring, and he just pulls out this massively huge freaking steel chair that looks as if it was made especially for him, a guy of his size. And he just brings it in with two hands, goes to the back of Sheamus. I believe it was once, twice with this steel chair. And he just picks up the victory on Sheamus. He pins him, 1, 2, 3, Big Show, still the World Heavyweight Champion. I don't know about you guys, but I just thought that finish was just so freaking lame. I just thought it was very comedic, and I'm not trying to be funny when I tell you guys, hey, I think he was hooking up with Wile the Coyote, because when I first saw the chair, that's exactly what I thought. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I thought we were getting a match. I didn't know we were going to have a little bit of comic relief in here, and that's exactly how it came off to me. Honestly, I would have just settled for just seeing Big Show just return the favor to what Sheamus had did to him at the Survivor Series pay-per-view, assaulting him 30-plus times. Heck, I would have preferred to see Big Show just take a steel chair and just double that number and go to the body of Sheamus 60 times, and I think everybody would have been like, damn, I think that would have received the largest pop of the night if Big Show would have went to the body of Sheamus that way. But again, Big Show, he picks up the victory. Match rating-wise, I had to give it 3.5 out of 5. I'm sorry, guys. Some of you might feel differently. Some of you might have thought that this match really, really kicked ass, but I was a little bit disappointed with the finish of this. Strong opening, nice middle section, poor ending, bottom line. Move on to match 7. We saw the team of Alberto Del Rio, Miz. They take on Heath Slater, Jinder Mahal, Drew McIntyre of the three-man band. Now, remember there, folks, these guys, they had to try to find a third tag team partner. For you guys that were under the impression maybe it was going to be Zack Ryder, no. It was not him. Instead, they went with WWE alumni, the Brooklyn Brawler. Yes, the Brooklyn Brawler. True story, for those of you that like a little history there, for a brief little moment there, he was Doink the Clown. If you can remember that, you're wrestling. But, yeah, he was Doink the Clown there for a bit. Nice mark-out moment if you're a Brooklyn Brawler fan. Now, we see Brooklyn Brawler in this, and these guys actually did pretty good. This was pretty much a squash match. There was really nothing you could really get into about this match because, if you're like me, you probably just wanted this match to end quickly, but you were very happy to see Brooklyn Brawler pop up. And Brooklyn Brawler, he did have his little spots in this match. Funny moment right here. We see The Miz. He does his finisher, and we see Brooklyn Brawler. He comes in. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I believe it was Heath Slater that was the victim. If not Heath Slater, then maybe Drew McIntyre. But we saw Brooklyn Brawler come in. And for those of you that might have been wondering all these years, what the hell is the Brooklyn Brawler's finisher? I can't recall the Brooklyn Brawler ever busting out a finisher. I don't remember him having a finisher name. Well, turns out that would be none other than the Boston Crab. That's right. He did the Boston Crab to make the 3MB member tap out. And I guess you can kind of rename that Boston Crab the Brooklyn Crab. True story, and if you remember this, then you need to pat yourself on the back. True story, and if you remember this, I really, really mean it when I say pat yourself on the back. You guys remember when Brooklyn Brawler had defeated Triple H on an episode of Raw? If you don't, YouTube is your best friend. That was a hell of a moment right there. All right, let's talk about the next match of the night where we saw the Money in the Bank ladder contract where the World Heavyweight Championship, you know what I'm trying to say. That's a tongue twister. Let's really get this right. It was a ladder match for the Money in the Bank briefcase that contained the World Heavyweight Championship contract. There we go. Try saying that 10 times fast. Dolph Ziggler taking on John Cena. Dolph Ziggler, just right before this, he cut one really great promo. He said that he is getting sick and tired of John Cena always getting his opportunities. He goes on record saying that tonight, when it's all said and done, this needs to be about him, that John Cena needs to go on the back burner. And it's so funny because Dolph Ziggler kind of even took it a step further to say that John Cena is one of the guys that is one of the main problems in the WWE, and he wants to rectify all that, and he hopes to do it tonight. Very interesting the way that he was going about this interview. It almost complimented an article that came out from Wired magazine this week, slamming John Cena, saying that he was the source of problems for WWE, and it even bashed John Cena for even being in this match against Dolph Ziggler for his Money in the Bank briefcase. Really great read. Highly recommend you check it out, but don't want to get too sidetracked. We go to another backstage segment. We see John Cena. He's warming up. He's trying to get ready for his match. And we see AJ Lee. She comes up to him, and she tries to wish him luck. John Cena, he tells her, hey, save the luck. Tell you what, why not celebrate with me after I defeat Dolph Ziggler and I get that Money in the Bank briefcase? So you know what's at stake right here. Dolph Ziggler having a lot to prove. John Cena, history on his side right here, as he could be, for the first time ever, a two-time Money in the Bank winner in just 1 year. Lot in this, and I want to talk about that crowd. That Brooklyn crowd was on fire tonight. They blazed the hell out of John Cena. John Cena, they let him have it. They were booing that man out the arena. It was obvious who the fans wanted to see win on this night, and it was none other than Dolph Ziggler. This was a very good back and forth type of match, as these guys were just going move for move. Funny moments here, though, because the crowd, I love this New York crowd. They booed John Cena every single time he was able to land a punch, anything on Dolph Ziggler. They were letting him have it. Dolph Ziggler, though, that was their baby. That was their darling. This was one of those type of matches. It was right up there with CM Punk, John Cena at Night of Champions. It was right up there with that. It was that type of intensity. It was that type of energy that you could feel from this crowd. This was one of those matches, guys, that it didn't matter if you had your phone open, Twitter, whatever. None of that mattered. This was pretty much about kicking back, relaxing, and watching this pay-per-view match right here, because this was it. Let's talk about the critical moments that came in the final seconds of this match, and I know a lot of you guys were really pissed off about this. Let's talk about it, all right? In a nutshell, we see that Dolph Ziggler, he gets taken out by John Cena there as Ziggler tried to climb on the ladder. Cena takes him out. They both kind of take each other out, and this is pretty much the who's going to come to first type of game, as they're both struggling to come to. We see Vicky Guerrero. She comes out. She grabs a steel chair. She's getting ready to assault John Cena with it. AJ Lee, she comes out. She starts attacking Vicky Guerrero, starts landing all the moves that John Cena normally does when he's getting ready to set up somebody for that five-knuckle shuffle. Well, we see John Cena. He comes to. He's like, what the hell? And he sees that it's AJ. She pretty much did her little thing, and she's skipping around the ring. John Cena, he's like, oh, okay, well, let me get the win. So he sets up the ladder. He climbs up. He's about to reach for the briefcase when, wham, he goes crashing, not outside the ring. When you look back on it, you could kind of tell that John Cena was supposed to go crashing outside the ring. Didn't quite happen that way. John Cena still fell inside, but he bounced off the ropes, face first into the ladder, and then crashed onto the mat. All this caused by that little devil, AJ Lee, who just has this pissed off look on her face. And as the lovely co-producer Tammy said, AJ Lee is one bipolar chick. I couldn't agree with you more, co-producer Tammy. AJ Lee just standing there, just with this weird glazed look on her face. We see Dolph Ziggler. He finally comes around. He gets in the ring. He looks at what just happened, and he's looking at AJ like, WTF, AJ Lee just looks at him, busts out a smile, and skips her little butt out the ring. Dolph Ziggler just continues to stand there. Meanwhile, the crowd, they are cheering. They're trying to tell Ziggler, go climb that damn ladder, kid, get the briefcase. Ziggler props up the ladder, quickly races to the top of that ladder, grabs his briefcase. Folks, Dolph Ziggler still your Money in the Bank winner for that World Heavyweight Championship. You know, it just proves, you know, I like the match, but I got to be for real here, and we got to live up to the motto, always keeping it real. It just proves in my mind, and I know I'm probably getting ready to say something that will probably put me in a situation where I will probably never have John Cena come onto the show, but I got to be real. This just really comes to me like, once again, John Cena proves that he can't just lose cleanly to somebody that is a better performer than he is. Okay? I mean, unless your name is Triple H, unless your name is Undertaker, unless your name is The Rock, unless your name is, you know, Hulk Hogan, it just really comes off to me that John Cena isn't willing to do the right thing to really put somebody over without that little myth going around in somebody's head. You know, here was a case right here. Look, you already have a gimmick match, okay? You got the ladder match. You got the briefcase hanging, okay? This could have really just been a all-out freaking war. This is all about the better man coming out on top. But you add in the Vicky Guerreros, you add in the AJ Lee, you just make the win so tainted, and it just really solidifies that myth that has been going around on John Cena for a lot of years, that he's never willing to just lose cleanly to somebody that is a better performer than he is. Now, I know this creates a lot of great buzz going into WWE Raw for Monday night. I'm feeling that because now you got that $1 million question, why did AJ do what she did? What exactly is happening here? Has she and Dolph Ziggler, have maybe they come to some type of a agreement, or is there something a little bit more underneath the surface? Is she mad at John Cena for not returning, you know, the emotions? You know, what's going on right here? Very, very weird moment. I don't really know what to tell you guys. I know this much, though. Overall, really great pay-per-view, hands down. I would have to give it a 8 out of 10. It was a really awesome moment. That's going to do it, folks. We just got done covering the WWE TLC pay-per-view. We were going to make the show a little bit longer tonight, but, you know, we were trying to hopefully get a number of folks that were going to call into the show, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. And unfortunately, I did not reserve the usual block of time of 90 minutes. So unfortunately, the show's ending for now, so humbly apologize to you guys. But for the very latest, check out our tweets. Make sure you check us out on blogtalkradio.com/the RCWR show.
We got a ton of great shows planned for this week coming up. It all begins this Monday night as we'll be making a very special, rare Monday night appearance. That's right, it's going to be the RCWR show coming on immediately after WWE Raw, as it's the annual Slammy Awards special. Will be coming on at 11 p.m. Eastern, so make sure that you join us, as it's not every day that we make a rare Monday night appearance after Raw. This will be your opportunity to interact with us fresh off the heels of that episode, so do join us. Also, coming up this Tuesday is going to be a very special episode of the RCWR show, as we're going to be coming on an hour earlier. That's right. So what that means is, right after Super SmackDown Live, you'll be able to catch us at 10 p.m. Eastern. I repeat, you'll be able to catch us at 10 p.m. Eastern. Can't stress that enough for you guys that listen to us on the East Coast. I don't want you all calling into the show or trying to check it out around 11 o'clock 11:30, and we've already done the show, and we're off the air. Again, after SmackDown, 10 p.m. Eastern, you'll be able to catch that. Also, this Wednesday, we're going to be making a unique episode of the RCWR show, as it'll be our first time airing on a Wednesday night. We're going to be covering the very latest from the Connecticut shootings. We're going to be joined by the lovely co-producer Tammy, and we're also going to be joined by special guest, renowned psychiatrist, Dr. Rossi. You all want to make sure you check that episode out. We're going to try to make sense of everything that had happened this past Friday in Connecticut. And Dr. Rossi is going to try to give us a little bit of insight into what makes some young people snap the way as this young gunman had did to take so many precious lives. Make sure you check that out this Wednesday at 11 p.m. Eastern. Thursday night, we are going to do, as usual, our rounds of Impact Showdown Radio. Going to cover the fallout from TNA Impact Wrestling. You want to make sure you check that episode out, as it's going to be the Championship Thursday night edition, where, remember, folks, Tara is going to have to defend her Knockouts title against a random knockout. Who can it be? Well, as you know, there's going to be that series of eliminations to determine who will be the contender to face Tara for her title. Also, we got Jeff Hardy that's going to be taking on Austin Aries in the main event for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. So there you have it, folks. Pretty solid week of programs that we're going to be putting out all this week for your listening and downloading pleasure. So make sure you check them all out. Of course, the talk of wrestling doesn't stop here. Be sure to subscribe to us in the iTunes Zune marketplaces using the keywords the RCWR show. And for those of you who have came across this on YouTube, if you saw the pay-per-view tonight, we'd love to hear your thoughts, get your reactions, and we'll share them on the RCWR show coming this Monday night. So feel free to leave those comments below. Hope everybody's had a pretty safe weekend, and until we hear from you all next go round, this is the Black Avenger, Lee Sanders, and you all be safe and be kind to one another, folks. We'll see you this Monday night at 11 p.m. Eastern. Everybody do take care.